What I want to speak about today is about the growing reality of cost of living and how expensive things are around the world today. Everyone is complaining about inflation. Everyone is complaining right now, especially during this war that is going on with Iran gas prices being at 3.89 at almost $4 here in New Jersey where I live. And the fact of the matter is that guys that are around my age, people that are around my age, are drowning not only in debt, but are drowning in problems. They have a massive tension when it comes to their finances and when it comes to their personal lives. Why? Because things are just so expensive. I always talk about this consistently with my coworkers. And one of the things that we consistently say, specifically one of them, is you go into Walmart and you get out of Walmart with only 3 bags, and the moment you get out of Walmart with 3 bags, you already spent $150 on things that you look back and you say, what in the world? How did I spend so much? Why is this happening? Because there is a cost of living that is going up so fast around the country, and especially in this state where I'm living in New Jersey, in the Northeast. Cost of living is just going to such a different extent of expensive. I'm 25 years old personally. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. I almost said 4. My gosh, my wife would panic if she heard that. I have 2 kids. I have a full-time job, and I am 100% debt free. I didn't get lucky. I just stopped making excuses. And that is the issue that goes on many times. People are full of excuses. And I know this sounds a little bit mean to say, but I think that being full of excuses is just being full of weakness. I think excuses is the messaging that weak people use. And I don't mean to be offensive to anybody, but the fact of the matter is that no matter what family trauma, no matter what situation you could have possibly come from, as much as it is a difficult situation, the reality is that it's never going to go away if it is part of your life. This is a part of your life. And if you want to be able to surpass the things that you are dealing with today, whether it is trauma or not, whether it is something extremely unfortunate or not, you need to be able to begin to work toward it and begin to be set free from this. And I heavily believe that there are many ways for this to happen, but you need to begin to work toward it. Don't use the excuse of I'm broke because of the fact that my family is Hispanic. I'm Hispanic too. My family came, my father was the first person in this country that migrated from the country of Honduras, and he planted a business. There was no excuses for him, and even less excuses for me as the son of someone that was a business owner. Now, I will be honest, was he able to do as much as he could have done if he understood things better in this country? No. But he was able to plant his business. He was able to plant his mechanic shop, and he was able to go very far with it and succeed with it. But now he's hit a ceiling. And the reality is that there was never any excuses. Now, did he lack in some aspects of knowledge to be able to do things better? Of course. But there's not any excuses for you to be able to do the things that you need to do to get ahead today. The reality is that there's a massive elephant in the room, and that there are things that exist such as degrees, as schooling, as education, and there is a lot of things that exist as well that limit you, such as debt. Many people are full of debt and full of issues and full of the struggle of wanting to be able to have a degree, to be able to get somewhere, and maybe that is the limiting factor that you have. But let me be real with you. As much as some of these things can affect, as much as, for example, me, I was thinking the other day about an MBA degree, and I was like, how much would it benefit me as a marketer to be able to have an MBA, and how much an MBA can help me actually get into higher levels of positions within the marketing world, especially within corporate. And I was thinking about these things, and as I sat there and I thought about it, I realized something. I was making an excuse. This is not what I learned from my father's example. My father's example, that blue collar work ethic, is work hard, grind, put in the work, make zero excuses, and continue going forward, no matter what is the barrier. In my father's case, he planted a mechanic shop in an area where English was spoken a lot, although there is some Spanish speaking people here, and that is a reality. Although there was some Spanish speaking people, that is the reality and the fortunate part of it. But the unfortunate part was that there was a lot of Polish people, a lot of European people that were coming to him to be able to fix their vehicle, and he didn't even understand English a slight bit. So how was he able to pass this barrier? He was able to confront it. He was able to begin to practice it. And as he continued going throughout the years, at this point now, with decades of having the business, he now is able to communicate to people speaking in English, not only understanding them, but speaking to them in English. So that is the reality of what happens when you make zero excuses. You need to begin to work toward it. We need to begin to work hard and grind, no matter what is the situation you have. If you're not willing to work, you're not willing to get to your goals. You're not willing to get to the place you need to get to. You need to be able to have a grinding mentality, to be able to work hard and accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. You can only do it. And if you're full of excuses, then you will never be able to do it. That is the thing that has helped me get out of debt freedom. And that is the thing that will help me accomplish the financial freedom that I want to be able to accomplish for myself and, more than anything, for my family. And I want to be real here. One of the things that I realize I have struggled with when it comes to planting this business, Santos Financial, and one of the things that I have realized that has been such a difficult thing to deal with, is the reality of, I feel sometimes entitled to be able to say that I need to have thousands of followers because I'm posting consistently. I deserve to have clients because I'm putting in the work. But the fact of the matter is that, am I really deserving of these things because I'm putting in the work? Or am I deserving of these things because I will continue putting in the work even when I'm not seeing necessarily any future results right now? You need to be willing to be consistent no matter what it is that you are bringing as results. Now, of course, you have to be wise. If you're seeing that the thing that you're working with is not necessarily ever going to bring you results, then you need to react. 100%, I believe in that. But the fact of the matter is that many people believe that they deserve things, that they deserve to be a millionaire because they've had a full-time job for 3 decades. That is not the reality. You could work for 50 years of your life and never accomplish being a millionaire. Why? Because if you're working 50 years of your life, but you continue to believe that you deserve the world and you don't work toward it, and you're not disciplined for it, then you know what? You're not going to be able to accomplish it. That's the reality of this life. That no matter how much you think you deserve it, you don't necessarily deserve it. You don't deserve it. The only people that deserve it are those that are willing to put in the work for what they have. Sometimes you have to learn to eat dirt first before you're able to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish later. Sometimes you have to learn to be able to put in the work and put in the sweat and put in the tears and put in the stress in order for you to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish for tomorrow. One of my biggest accomplishments at this age is being debt-free. At 25 years old, generally people are not debt-free at this point in their lives. And the fact of the matter is that I was able to do it not only being a 25-year-old, but being someone that is married and being someone that has to pay rent and being someone that has to maintain 2 children. The fact of the matter is I was able to accomplish this because I was willing to be consistent. It's called a budget. It's called saying no to debt and saying yes to savings. It's called saying no to McDonald's and saying yes to putting that money into your savings account at the end of the month. So the fact of the matter is that even when it comes to debt freedom, even when it comes to accomplishing any goal in life, if you want to be a graduate, I have a master's degree. If you want to have a master's degree, you have to be willing to put in the work. Show up every single week, put your assignments in every single week, and accomplish the goal you want to accomplish and graduate with the degree you want to get. But the fact of the matter is that when it comes to debt freedom, many times this goal is so far and so large, and most of the United States is in debt. So why can't I just be in debt? Why don't I just continue living this way? But if you make that excuse, again, as I've said before, you will continue to fail in the things that you want to accomplish, because excuses are just the reasoning that weak people use to not accomplish their goals and stay in the same place. And again, I don't mean to be offensive, but the fact of the matter is that someone that accomplishes things like debt freedom, it isn't without sweat and tears. It's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to think about the fact that I paid off my car so quick, that I paid off my student loans. I was able to get my master's degree completely cash. That I was able to pay my wife's bachelor's degree completely cash. Why? Why was I able to do it? Why were we able to do this? Because we were willing to put in the work, and we were willing to say no to the things that look good and say yes to the things that I want to accomplish today and tomorrow. And because of those decisions, every single day, we were able to reach the goal of being debt free, of getting our degrees completely paid off cash, thousands and thousands of dollars. But you know what? I was able to do it without having to get loans to the government, without having to depend on someone else to pay my things off. So in the end of the day, I will say this loud and clear. Consistency is always going to be the key to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish in your life. In my case, this has been debt freedom. And in the future case, I want it to be financial freedom. I want it to be success and wealth for my family and for myself. But you know what it is? You know what is the key? It is that you continue showing up every single time. That's consistency. If you're not willing to do that, you're not willing to accomplish your goals. Now, I want to talk more about that. This whole consistency thing and the thing of showing up and being there every single time, something that I have had to learn through years of being a father, through years of being married, something that I've had to show up through years of working, but something I had to do and prove through years of paying off my debt. You know what it is that made me be able to show up every single time? And you know what it is that made me realize how important it is? Personally speaking, all of these things is what showed me it. But on top of all of that was my spiritual life. But the fact of the matter is that showing up is a reality that you need to master if you are wanting to be able to get out of the situation you are. I've worked my full-time job, but on top of working my full-time job, I was able to grind on this business on the side. And in due time, I know that the fruits will show for it. Showing up is a big and major part of being able to succeed. Now, let me be clear with you. Showing up isn't everything, because wisdom is a massive part of it. Intelligence is a massive part of it. It is something that you begin to learn as you go. But if you want to be able to accomplish anything in your life, show up. Show up every single time. Show up for your kids. Show up for your wife. Don't give up and walk away like many do. You know why kids are out there and why your kids are broken? Why? Because you give up on your marriage. Because you've given up on yourself. Show up for yourself. Show up for your kids. When you get home tired from work, show up for them. Be there with them. When you're tired from work, show up for your wife. Be there. Help. It is about showing up every single damn time. That is what will lead you to be able to accomplish the goals that you want. And yes, I'm talking about personal aspects, but when you show up to work, when you show up to your business, even when you have 1,000 posts and you only have 200 followers, when you continue showing up in due time, I always hear this, when you continue swinging, eventually you hit one. So continue swinging, continue being consistent, but also be intelligent. When you realize that your business and that the model that you're doing isn't working, and that maybe you're 1,000 posts in with only 100 followers or 200 followers, is the example I gave. When that is the case, then maybe you have to stop and analyze what you're doing and see maybe I need to do something different, because maybe something I'm doing now isn't really working. And that is the example that I would give also when it comes to my father. My own father had the struggle of the fact that he had the grit. He had it down. But the reality is that since his age and because of the fact that he wasn't really born in this country and he had to learn a lot of different things from this culture, he has been limited to the technological aspect of things many times that will help you be able to take your business to another level. to be able to understand the way the market has changed from the time that he started here to now. Not everybody can catch up to that. It's not easy to do that, but you have to be willing to develop that aspect of yourself. So if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not willing to develop yourself, if you're not willing to show up and to grow, then you're not willing to be able to accomplish the goals you want. You want to beat inflation? You want to not struggle and care about the prices of gas going up? Personally, I don't care about gas. I don't care if the gas price goes up to $4. Of course, yes. Does it affect me to a certain extent? Yeah. Is it kind of crazy? Yeah. But in the end of the day, does it really damage me on my financial life? No, not at all. Because in the end of the day, I'm completely debt free. I really don't have to worry about all the bills of car notes and student loans and different credit cards. And no, I don't even have credit cards. I don't want credit cards. I don't need credit cards. And I refuse to have it because it is debt. In the end of the day, if you are not willing to do this and be consistent and be different than others, then don't expect to be able to accomplish the goals you want. It's called entitlement. Don't be that person. Be the person that is willing to be there every single time. Give me a comment, like, or subscribe if you are interested in hearing more of all of this. But more than that, if you're someone that wants to be able to take your business to a further extent, if you're someone that wants to begin a business and that wants to begin your entrepreneurial journey, give it a comment or subscribe here or follow here, because we will begin to talk more and more about grit. We will begin to talk more and more about planting a business and about my journey personally of planning a business and the things that I have been able to learn through this process. If you are interested in more information, again, you could comment, you could DM me, or you could text me or email me. You can find more information on my website, santosfinancialstrategy.com, if you want to look for more. Now, as I always say, Santos Financial, here is where you find your path to freedom.